10, I think we can start.
Yeah.
And so this webinar is about target groups. The 3 target groups that we will focus on today are detainees, drug users in prison, also adolescents in Thessaloniki with Olga, and thereafter Martin will speak about a study about working with the parents in therapeutic communities. He will be the third present speaker. So maybe Begonia, you can present yourself and start your presentation.
Okay. I will try to share my. You tell me if it's fine. Can you see anything? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
You should choose what to present. So you can choose your entire screen. Normally it's not a good option. A window. And if you find the window where the presentation is running is better, or only a tab. But if you have opened your presentation on PowerPoint and you have already the presentation running, you should choose a window and look for the right window.
Yes, it's
now?
coming.
No. It's
Yes,
is it on Chrome, your presentation on
No, it's
an online
PowerPoint.
tool?
if
So
she
you
now
have to
opens,
choose stop this presentation. Okay, go on with the presentation. Share your screen.
Well, maybe it's easier if you support me. Okay, so I share my screen. Yeah.
Okay, no, a window. Choose a window instead of your entire screen, or and you should see all the
window,
windows
okay.
running on your PC.
Okay,
You have to
I got
choose
it
the window with the presentation. That's
That
right.
is?
Okay.
voila.
And you can start the presentation now.
Okay. If there is any problem, please just tell me. Okay. Because I
Okay.
cannot see you anymore. I'm just with my presentation.
Okay.
Well, so thanks, first of all, thanks for this opportunity. I will try to present the experience of Proyecto Hombre in prison settings. And well, just a little bit about talking, I think you all know about Proyecto Hombre, but it's a civil society organization. And we have been working during more than 30 years in prisons, and we can talk about at least more than 79,000 beneficiaries in conflict with the law that we have been working through. Since 1919, more than 54,000 prisoners and inmates has been treated in Proyecto Hombre, but we also work with the area of alternatives to imprisonment. I would like to point this because for us it's very important to try to bring them outside prison to do the process, okay? But well, anyway, we are working in 34 Spanish penitentiaries in all over the country. And we have different programs inside prisons. We have 7 therapeutic communities.
Sorry, Begonia.
But yeah?
Sorry, are you switching between the slides now?
Yeah, I move.
Because we only see probably you're choosing the wrong window, because we see only the starting slide. You should choose the slide, the presentation, not the PowerPoint file.
Okay, I choose one
so
window.
First of all, start. The presentation has been already started.
Yeah.
Are you
Maybe
using Windows or Mac?
I am using Windows. Maybe you could support me. I send the presentation to George. Do you have it?
Not yet. You should share, when you share your screen and you choose the window, you should choose the window with the presentation, not the window with the PowerPoint file.
Yeah, I did that.
Not yet. Now we see the window with the but it's okay if you can switch the slides using the left panel. It's okay.
Can you see it? I'm moving it now.
Yes, if you click on 2, 3, 4, and so on, we can see in the main screen the. Yes, okay, great. Thank you.
Ah, okay. Okay, so I cannot move it like the whole thing. You have to look the
Otherwise,
little
you
ones.
should choose the other window, the window with the full screen presentation. But it's okay in this way.
Okay. Can you see
It's
it
enough
correctly?
here.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because I was moving it, but I couldn't see you. Now I can see you. Okay, I understand. Yeah, I was just presenting about Proyecto Hombre, and here is like all the different cities we are working in prisons settings, and just to make you understand that we work in 3 different levels. So those are the numbers of people treated last year inside prison, and we have some motivational groups. We call these low intensities, individual interviews, and we work on motivation. And also we work like in mid intensity with intrapenitentiary groups. With those groups, we try, like most of them, they could do all the process outside prison, okay? But for those, they don't have that possibility. We have 7 therapeutic communities inside a prison, okay? So I will try to present very briefly one of those 7 therapeutic community is the one that it's in Picasen. Picasen is a prison that it's in Valencia, in the East Coast, and some of the people from Trampoline have the possibility to visit it. It's both for men and women, and well, it has 2 phases: preparatory and treatment. Okay. And here will be the objective. It's like another therapeutic community. It's a multidimensional, systematic, and holistic approach. And the aim is the social reentry to specifically address people with substance use disorders while serving their sentence within the framework of a prison setting. And well, the objectives is like other therapeutic community: promote social reentry, prevent mental health disorders, reduce interpersonal tensions, and of course, reduce in-prison violence. Well, I would like to emphasize that gender perspective that is integrated throughout the process. This means addressing the specific needs of women and welcoming other gender identities in the therapeutic community, being respectful of the difference. For us, that's really important, and sometimes it's challenging because we have both men and women in those therapeutic communities. For that, we have some strategies. Well, in short, it is about helping them to develop personal resources, change of values that lead to a change of lifestyle, and well, to prevent relapse. Our residents continue their treatment in the urban therapeutic communities outside in Valencia, outside the prison setting. That's really important to finalize correctly the process. Well, this is about the staff. It's mixed. We have official in-prison staff and also Proyecto Hombre therapists working alongside. This is challenging, but it's how it has to be done to be successful. And here it will be like the numbers. You can see we have 3 therapists from Proyecto Hombre, but then the rest, they are workers from prison staff. We have psychologists, social workers, social educator, the jury lawyer, teacher, and prison officers, the guardians also, they are involved. And well, during the duration of the process, it will be determined by the achievement of the therapeutic objectives of the individual interventional plan. So it's approximately a total of 18 months, probably. So the first some walking and different activities outside prison. We have also sectors of work, like other therapeutic community. The task of cleaning, kitchen, laundry are also like rotation basis, supervised and coordinated by a sector manager. And when we have the possibility, we also have family, challenging family when they are inside prison, but we always try to reach them. And those are the reasons for ending the program. It can be voluntary discharge or expulsion, but most common, they finish when they achieve the objectives program. And again, through the inmates' commitment, we try to do the progression. The third grade, we call it, is a grade that allows them to continue the rehabilitation program in external resources. Also, we have a evaluation process, but I didn't bring it up to you. In case you are interested, I could share. Well, but also I would like to present Soto del Real. Because well, this is the first therapeutic community open in Spain inside a prison. This happened 25 years ago, and well, I have the opportunity to be part of this beautiful experience from the very beginning. It was open in May 1998, and this was only possible thanks to a determined and clear political aim, both on the part of the delegation of the National Plan on Drugs and the penitentiary institutions. The project was initiated at the proposal of the National Plan on Drugs, and it was included in the National Drugs Plan, giving it some financial support. I would like to be clear with this. Otherwise, I think we would have not been so successful at it is. And well, why Proyecto Hombre? I guess because we have a lot of experience. Since 33 years ago, we have been working, we have been present in prisons. At least in Madrid, we start working in Carabanchel. You can see that picture is a very, very old prison that now it's closed. It's not open anymore. But we were present in men's and women's prison of Carabanchel since 1992, and in other prisons like Valdemoro, Alcalá Meco. We were always present in Victoria Ken also. So they already know us. And I guess that's why they choose Proyecto Hombre to be in charge of this. About Soto del Real experience, this didn't happen suddenly. It was a process. First of all, we need to present the project to the prison authorities. Even though we had the approval of the director of the General Directorate of Penitentiary, it was important that the management team of the prison, Soto del Real, was committed to the project from the very beginning. And second, joint elaboration of the documentation and protocols, the rules, the criteria for inclusion, exclusion, the therapeutic community contract. We have to adapt our experience in outside to adapt to the rules of a prison. For that, we need to conform the joint team in charge of the whole program. We need to write the definition, a written definition of the roles of the members and a training plan for both parties. Also, we start working with prisoners, we present them the proposal, and we start having some interviews. And from there, we select those prisoners that have the inclusion criteria, men and women. And we start with self-help groups in the assembly hall on the very beginning. And when we had a consolidated group of motivated people, we ask for a model. And this is where they assign us the model number 1 with views of the lake and the mountain. It was pretty beautiful. But we have the same we have the same structure than other models. So we need to adapt the model with painting, prepare the school with volunteers inside. Well, it took I guess like a year or 2 years when we can finally say the therapeutic community was running. So this will be for me the necessary components to start the process: political willingness and financing, legal framework that support it is also needed, coordinate the multidisciplinary team of penitentiary institutions with the intervention team of Proyecto Hombre. Agreement must be based on the principle of consensus among its members, which implies a necessary effort of flexibility and integration. It was challenging for me. I think that was the most challenge, to have the feeling of being just one team, and include the guardian officers from the very beginning. Also, that was challenging, but we have to. And of course, training of the therapeutic community team, and both, like they will train us about prison knowledge, and we should train them about addiction process and a written intervention model. And well, and so far, well, we have the inclusion criteria. Voluntariness, it sounds easy, but it was not that easy in the very beginning, because they would not agree sometimes, the prison staff, but a signed application form is required. Also, present an addiction problem. We have some issues because some challenge, they want to obtain prison benefits of participating in the program. So we have 2 cases of people that they do not have a real problem with addiction, and they wanted to enter. Okay, so we have to prove the addiction problem. Also, we have people with methadone, in treatment with methadone. We don't have problem about that. Well, it's also a key to verify the motivation of the inmates, and no sexual offenders due to the inclusion of women in the program. Length of sentence, it's a maximum of 8 years left to qualify for parole, and no serious psychopathological disorders. I mean, dementia, psychosis, psychiatric disorders not addressable with psychotherapy. And we have, of course, some ground of expulsions, introduction of drugs, physical or verbal violence, sexual intercourse, opening of this disciplinary proceedings. Well, and I would like to mention some of our good practice we are doing in SOLA. SOLA is an innovative initiative that it's funding from the European Social Fund, and promotes the social and occupational integration of disadvantaged groups inside and outside prison. It's being implemented just in Soto del Real as a prison experience. Also, we have some training workshops, and the carpentry workshop. It's a project named Perspective for the Future to a Life Without Drugs. And well, we have been the TEPSA awards for social value. Also, we have greenhouse and vegetable garden inside the prison, where inmates learn a trade and develop social and work skills. And well, this is another beautiful experience. 1 day a week, they have 2 hours of tennis lessons, thanks to a collaboration agreement with the Madrid Tennis Federation. And well, they have even been on TV because they want to present the experience. And I think this is the most beautiful one. With the profits obtained from the carpentry workshop, every year 1,000 inmates can walk for a week a section of the Camino de Santiago. It's the route in the north of Spain. This can only be done by inmates entitled to prison leave with prior authorization, of course, but it is a very, very beautiful experience we have been doing for many years. And well, to end my presentations, I would like just to read this from Carmelo Sanchez, is the current director of the Therapeutic Community, that explain the success in the level of relapse in consumption, delinquency, and breach of sentence during the temporary release from prison in comparisons with other models. In the 10 years that I was there were no offenders that we didn't have any problem with any offenders that were victims. And well, that's about it. I tried to do it a little bit fast because it was just 20 minutes presentations, but so maybe we have time if you have any questions or something you would like to know better.
Thank you very much, Begonia. Well, are there questions in the group of participants? raise your hand if you have a question. Or yes, yes. Your name is Kok.
Yes, my name is.
From where are you? From which service? Which organization?
I am from inside the penitentiary. I am actually the coordinator of a therapeutical center in Gerla prison, a maximum security prison.
Yes.
And I was very interested about this presentation. And we have only 6 years of experience, and we want to extend this method inside our system. And I want to know if it's possible to obtain those presentation and to get in contact with you, Begonia. Yes.
Yes, of course. I would love it. Well, I will write down my email, okay? And you can write me.
Kok, sorry, if you wanted to write your email address in the chat, we will register you in the website platform where you can find all the presentation also from previous webinars and all the recording. And so we because we are recording with this session, and it is available in the platform.
Yes, great.
And I put my email, okay, in case you need more.
May I ask everybody, if you are not in the Ecett-Networks yet, to put your email in the chat, and then we will contact you afterwards to give you all our information, all our tools, if you want to join the networks.
Sorry, email, first name, last name, and
first name, last name,
city.
Yeah.
This is enough to be registered in the platform. Thank you, Kok.
And Kok, you are from which country? I did not understand.
I am from Romania.
Uh-huh.
You see my flag there?
Fine.
I am from Romania, from one of the biggest prison in Romania, actually. From Transylvania. Maybe you heard about Transylvania.
Yes.
Yes. Timișoara, yes, it's in Transylvania as well. We have a penitentiary over there also. The presentation was great on the project. It's so huge, the Hombre. So many years of experience. So I am so anxious.
It can be Begonia, it can be Martien Kooyman, it can be Olga from Argo. If you want a coaching online, it is possible through the Ecett Academy. So we put you in link with the people, and we organize your learning process. So the others, you can also put your email address in the chat.
I already did. I already put my email address there. It's one with the gov from. Yes, and yes, I have. Okay. Good.
Maybe George, you could explain to her more about the Ecett Academy.
Sorry?
I was telling George that maybe he could explain to the people a little bit about the Ecett Academy.
Yes.
Okay, so you have the link. Okay.
The Ecett, beside the internships that we organize, so you can visit other organizations. And for example, if you want in Romania to have mobility funding, Erasmus Plus funding to visit the program in Spain, we can help you to have these mobility grants. But beside that, also we have opened an academy, and all the people who have expertise in something, they can become trainers in the academy. But then we will send you the link to the academy website. Voilà.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other questions? Yes, sorry. Kok.
Actually, we are going to apply for 2 Erasmus projects in the next year. and one of them is with this purpose to exchange experience between therapeutical communities. So we will keep in touch, and I will be interested to present our good practice of therapeutical community as well.
That's very good. That's very good.
If you are still building the partnership for your Erasmus Plus project, you can consider also to have Ecett-Networks or another partner within Ecett-Network as a partner.
Yes, that's
Thank
why
you.
I'm here mostly, but it's very interesting as well. Thank you.
And if you want to participate to a webinar that we are doing next Friday about how to get mobility grants, so you just make a sign and we send you the link to the next webinar about mobilities.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other questions? Yes, Martin.
I think it's great what you accomplished in Spain. It's not easy to start theses in a prison. Now you have people with a certain sentence. How can it be seen if a person is so many months and he has to stay longer than you want or less than you want in a program that you have? And how do you have the aftercare organized? Because is it the same program that has your program that has a TC as the aftercare? Maybe is it a TC program, or what is a program where you also have men and women together? What's not possible in the prison, I suppose. How do you deal with that, the aftercare?
Well, we are doing more or less the same process that what we do outside, okay? Outside, we also have like the first period, we have like a therapeutic community, and then we have the insertion process, okay? So whenever they have the possibility to go out because of the legal issue, they will keep on doing whatever they have been doing inside prison. They will continue doing it outside. Okay. Also, we have something that is really good, like we have Proyecto Hombre all over Spain, because sometimes there is a prisoner in Madrid, but his family belongs to, I don't know, to the north of Spain. So then we move them, we refer them to continue the program in the Proyecto Hombre where his family belongs. Okay, so whenever the lawyer can manage, and then the judge give them the opportunity, he will continue doing the process outside. Okay, but for those that they have very, very long sentence, we don't really care about that much, because we start asking for parole. Usually they give them parole if we present they have finished the program, they are doing a great process outside, they find a job, they are with their families and everything. Because in Spain we have the possibility of the third grade. I don't know in other countries, like okay, you have been sentenced on 10 years, but you don't have to be the 10 years inside a prison. Okay, so we ask the penitentiary team will ask for the third grade. That gives them the possibility to continue the program outside. And whenever the program is finished, because you cannot be with someone doing 10 years doing therapy because he will get kind of crazy. So they will just have to go to prison once a month for an interview. Okay. So at that time, we continue just to ask them for parole, or that's what it is. Maybe they have to be doing 5 years going to, it's another prison. We call it Victoria Ken. They just go for an interview. Maybe they will do them a test to prove that they are not taking drugs, but they are already working and with their families. Okay, the only problem is when they don't have the possibility of this third grade. Okay, that happened, as far as I know, with 5 inmates. So they ended the process in the inside prison, And we were like, what are we going to do with them? Because it was not possible to put them again in another module with people taking drugs and go backwards. So finally, the prison gives them the opportunity to work like outside prison, okay? I don't know how to explain, like they have gardens, they have places where they could work and just come back to the therapeutic community to sleep. That's how we manage. It's not the best option, but well, they are living in the therapeutic community, but they are not inside the therapeutic groups because they have already done during 4 years, maybe therapeutic community. Yeah, but it's a challenge, Martin. It's a challenge. We try to individualize process. We also have a lawyer in the team that supports all this legal process to try to align the legal process to the therapeutic process. But it's not. It doesn't go always in the same times. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I answered.
Okay.
Thanks, Begonia. It is already 10:40, so we will have to move to the second presentation. But if there are still questions for Begonia, you can put them in the chat, and maybe Begonia can answer later to you if you give your email address. Thanks, Begonia. Well, where is Olga? Olga from Argo. I don't see her.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
Can I begin?
Yes, you can begin, Olga.
Okay. First of all, congratulations to Begonia. It was a very interesting presentation, many useful information. My name is Olga Kehaya, and I'm an adapted physical education teacher. And for the past year, I've been working at Argo program for adolescents and young adults as part of the therapeutic team. And today I'm going to share with you a few words about the program's structure, the services, and its first year of operation. And I'm going to conclude with some of the challenges addressed during this first year and some goals for the future. If you want to go to the next slide, please. Okay. So the program for adolescents and young adults with legal and illegal substances, misuse and addictive behaviors is a newly established project of Argo, aka Alternative Therapeutic Program for Addicted Individuals. The idea of this program is the result of a long-term planning process and aims to fill a large gap regarding the intervention in younger individuals dealing with any kind of addiction. It is funded by the operational program Central Macedonia 2014 to 2020 Priority Axis with the title Promotion of Social Inclusion and Fight Against Poverty, and co-funded by the European Social Fund. Next. The program is supported by scientifically and therapeutically by a multidisciplinary team, which is consisting of 2 psychologists, a social worker, a counselor, former drug user, a psychiatrist for children and adolescents, an adapted physical education teacher, a computer engineer, and an administrative officer. Next. Let's talk about the program a little bit and structure. Well, the program began in July 2021 with 2-month training of the therapeutic team on addiction issues, mental health of adolescents and related therapeutic approaches. During this time, the therapeutic team decided upon the therapeutic protocols to be used in the program, such as TDI DEMA, Europassi, etc., the duration and services to be offered, and address several administration issues mainly related to the operation and accommodation of the program. A key priority at the beginning of the project was the establishment of a long-term collaboration with other organizations and programs engaged in the prevention and, of course, in treatment of drug addiction and addictive behaviors. The program, in accordance with the fundamental philosophy of Argo, is a drug-free, non-residential, open therapeutic program. in which the adolescent and the young adult is encouraged to take on responsibilities, to adapt to a new way of life and behavior, as well as a new value system in order to live a life without any kind of dependency. The services are provided free of charge, without any kind of discrimination against race, sex, nationality, sexual preference, physical or mental disabilities, political or religious beliefs, criminal record, or financial status. Next. Okay, thank you. The target groups now. The program deals with all kinds of dependency, as we talked about earlier, from legal or illegal substances to addictive behaviors such as internet addiction, gambling, eating disorders, and it offers its services to teenagers and young adults as well as their families and significant others. Next. The services provided by the program are addressed to adolescent and young adults, as we talked before, as well as their families, significant others. Among the provided services are also community outreach activities and the mobile application, which are going to be discussed in more detail below. Next. More specifically, the services provided to adolescents and young adults are comprised of three therapeutic phases. You can see them here. Following a thorough assessment and evaluation, the beneficiary's request is assessed, and then, depending on the type of addiction and the profile of use, the therapeutic framework is developed among the three therapeutic phases. Next. We're going to discuss about them in the next slide. The first therapeutic phase of the Argo adolescent program is the counseling station, which is the entrance to the program and the whole therapeutic process. The initial contact with the program can be established with a simple phone call or message via social media in order to set the first appointment as soon as possible, usually within 24 hours, since there is no waiting list. The duration of this first phase of the counseling center depends on the profile and the rehabilitation path of each member, with a minimum stay of 1 month. The aim in this phase is to motivate people to stop using through individual as well as through group interventions. The second phase, the therapeutic community, we are still in the same slide. The therapeutic community is the second and main phase of the rehabilitation process and lasts for 6 to 12 months, with the possibility of extension, depending on the severity of addiction and the progress of each member. The passage to the main phase is marked by cessation of use, in case of dependence of legal or illegal substances, or by the reduction of addictive behaviors, in conjunction, of course, with the time frame set for each phase. In this phase, a variety of treatment groups and services are provided, such as group sessions, athletic activities, art therapy, non-verbal communication activities, activities within the community, etc., with the aim of ensuring abstinence from use and establishing a compensatory healthy pattern of life. Also, from this phase forward, the members can also attend the program school and complete fundamental or non-compulsory education in case it has been interrupted due to use. Last but not least, the third and final phase of the Argo adolescent program is the follow-up phase, which lasts from 1 to 3 months and links the beneficiary's transition from the rehabilitation process to a healthy daily life. Once the therapeutic objectives of the main phase have been achieved, emphasis is placed on connecting each member to the social fabric. In this phase, the frequency of the sessions is reduced and members are accompanied in their new routine until they're able to stand on their own feet, away from any kind of dependency or any addictive behavior. Next slide. Now, alongside the individualized goals we talked about before, that are set for each member, there are some basic therapeutic goals that frame the rehabilitation effort. For example, management of dependence on substances or addictive behaviors, attitudinal and behavioral change, mental rehabilitation, behavioral change, empowerment of social skills, enhancement of expression and communication, cessation of offending behaviors, motivation for school completion, and leisure time management. Next, please. As it was mentioned earlier, an important area of the program's operation is the support of the members' families and or significant others. Adolescents and young adults are closely connected to their family networks, which necessitates the work on the whole system for members' recovery efforts to be achieved. For this reason, the following services are also provided: individual support for parents, family systemic therapy, parent counseling, and parent support groups. Next. A key factor in the operation of the program is also the interconnection with services and institutions, both for the better service of the members and also for the continuous communication, exchange of ideas, and training of the interdisciplinary team. Moreover, in the context of promoting alternative recreational activities for the members of the program, and on the other hand, prevention, information, and outreach to vulnerable groups on issues of addiction and rehabilitation, the main concern of the Argo program is the organization of cultural, educational, athletic, informative, and recreational activities within the community. Next. Let's talk about the application a little bit. The Argo project also includes the development of a mobile application used for awareness raising, self-assessment, and self-help for adolescents or young users of illegal and legal substances and addictive behaviors. In this application, the user will be able to navigate through 6 different rooms with themed sections on psychotropic substances, alcohol, smoking, coffee, energy drinks, addictive behaviors such as internet gaming and gambling, get useful information through images and videos, live chat with a representative of the Argo Adolescent program, complete self-assessment questionnaires based on the relevant SPAN survey, and understand if their use is at risk of becoming abusive, and also access information regarding where to approach to get help. Next. Now, since the program has been running for a whole year, I would like to share with you a brief report and then conclude with the good practices obtained by the first year's experiences. As we can see in these 2 pie charts, in the first year of the Argo Teen program, from July 2021 to June 2022, a total of 107 individuals were supported, out of which 63% were family members or significant others, and 37% were adolescents or young adults with substance use problems or addictive behaviors. In the other one pie chart on your right, the same slide. Okay. We can see that according to the type of addictions, the adolescents or young adults are classified in the group of substances or addictive behaviors, as we talked before. And here we can see that the former outnumbered the latter. The adolescents or young adults with drug addictions approach the program were at 70%. Next slide. We have 3 charts in these slides. The one on your left is about the main substance of use. As we can see, among adolescents, young adults with substance misuse problems, cannabis is reported as the initiating substance of use in a higher proportion, followed by alcohol at a much lower frequency. Moreover, cannabis is reported by the majority of beneficiaries as the main substance of use, with heroin in much smaller proportions, following in the second place. In the program also approached a significant proportion of adolescents, young adults who had problems with addictive behaviors, such as gambling and internet. You can see that on your right. And we can see that problematic internet use and dependence was reported by the 75% of the beneficiaries that approached the program during the first year of its operations, followed by gambling. Next slide. As mentioned earlier, working with the families or significant others of the members is of paramount importance. It should be noted that last year, the percentage of parents or significant others reached out to the program was higher than that of the adolescents, as we talked before. Specifically, out of the 67 parents, significant others, the highest percentage involved cannabis use, followed by internet use. Next slide. Now, taking into consideration all the above information and evaluation of the experience of the first year of operation of the program, the following good practices emerge. First, the creation of an inclusive environment free of discrimination and prejudice has been shown to be motivating towards achieving positive changes and developing the personal identity of each adolescent. Second, the formulation of personalized interventions showing a sincere interest in the needs and wishes of each adolescent contributed positively to the cooperation and effective support of the target group. Also, the adolescents' participation in group therapeutic processes enabled them to come into contact, share thoughts, concerns, worries, problems with peers facing similar difficulties, to live and discuss experiences particularly important to them, setting common goals for the future, fostering a sense of collectivity and optimism. Furthermore, the use of social media played a key role in developing a channel of communication and cooperation with adolescents. Last but not least, collaboration and multi-level interaction between the members of the interdisciplinary team also played an important role. Therefore, a challenge for the future could be the development of a day center and an emergency shelter in order to meet the overall needs of members in the rehabilitation efforts. Also of greatest importance seems to be the implementation of online therapy groups and more generally a variety of online activities with different themes and targets each time, in which adolescents or young adults who find it difficult to approach the program are invited and have the opportunity to participate. Lastly, among the future goals of the program is the use of the application in order to inform, guide, and support more adolescents or young adults who need help but not know where to turn to. Thank you all for your time and attention. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Olga. So are there already some questions for Olga? Raise your hand, please. I have one question which was about, do you have contacts with other experiences in Greece or in Europe like yours?
Yes, we do. Also, during our training, during the first 2 months of operation, when we have our training as a team, as a therapeutic team, we have interconnection with other programs like ours in Thessaloniki and also in Athens to share experience and learn from them. Because the program, we organized the program from the beginning. There was no...
Thank you.
So it is very helpful. And we still use this network for referrals and for knowledge sharing.
And what are the ages? It's the youngest are how old and the eldest how old?
During the past year, we have I think 17 years old was the means, but we have teenagers from 12 years old. Oh. And the oldest that has approached the program is 24 years old. Okay. Because the profile of the youth seemed to be more appropriate for the adolescent program than the adult program.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions? I don't see other questions now. So also, if you still have questions for Olga, you can write them in the chat and we will forward it to Olga. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you.
So now I invite Martien Kooyman, Dr. Martien Kooyman. Martien was, he's a psychiatrist. and he was at the beginning of the first therapeutic community. Oh, my dog, Baru, stop. My dog. He was at the beginning of the first therapeutic community on the European continent in the years 70s. And so he made a research about working with the parents of the residents of therapeutic communities. Well, Martin, can you give you the floor?
Thank you. Well, in those days, of course, we had to learn from other people, and we had people from Phoenix House, former staff members, Phoenix House New York and Phoenix House London, to teach us how to run encounter groups, to also work in a structured program, but also they taught us that it was good to also have the parents involved in parent groups. So we started parent groups. Once every 2 weeks, parents were invited to come. And for them, it was a good place to talk about the things they found in common, their feelings of guilt, their feelings of being a failure of a person as a parent. And what important was also, I think, that they got a message from the people running the program for the parents saying, if your son or daughter is leaving a program, leaves it prematurely, splits, and they come to your house, send them back immediately and don't wait until the next day. So now I'm going to give you a presentation. Let me see. Okay. Here it comes. There are many different causal factors of addiction. You can see them here. You have the hereditary. Let me see for. Let me see. Have to go back to the beginning. Okay, sorry about that. This was the whole presentation in 1 minute. It's a bit too fast. When you have these causal factors, you can see them, and this is the title of the presentation. You have hereditary factors, you have the biological factors, your trauma, you have the factors of the family, I come back to that, the peer group, and the social factors also. If you look what happened in the early years, there were parent groups in America, but there were not so many programs involving parents. I visited America. For instance, I saw that the large TCs in America of more than 100 people as residents did not have the parent groups themselves, but they had them in smaller programs like in the drug-free day centers. For instance, the groups from Daytop Village, and I saw that those groups were run by parents that have been in parents groups themselves. Also, you had multi-family groups, for instance, in Phoenix House, run by a famous family therapist, Pauline Kaufman, and I saw those groups in a part of New York with only blacks living there, and they had the whole family there. Once a week, it was the whole family with the residents that were in the day center, and once a week, just only the family members. At home in Holland, we started with these experienced parent groups, but also partner groups and groups for brothers and sisters. And I also started a day center called the White House for Adolescents. And in this White House, we had also mandatory parent groups, mandatory. And also later, we had these groups also in the Stam. We learned that one thing we didn't expect it when we had pet partners of the residents in groups separate. Some of those partners had started a relationship with each other. And of course, the residents didn't like it at all. So then we realized that if you have partner groups, it's better to have them together with the residents who are in the TC. You have family involvement in different ways, and I'll give you some examples that were very innovative. For instance, the center in Rome, the TC, they developed a program when the TC was full. They could not admit any more residents. They had only 60 places. So they said, okay, let's try and have the people not on a waiting list, but let them come to our program and have a daily group. They had to go there together with a family member, usually it was a parent, and they put this to the users, the still using persons in a group, and also the parents or the brothers and sisters that brought them in another group. The groups for the users were run by a recovered staff member from this program in Rome, and the parallel meetings of the parents were run by parents. What was the result was that when some weeks later there was place in the TC, the users had already stopped in these groups and the parents were already involved. Also, you have single family therapy. I was the guest of famous therapist Duncan Stanton. He said that we do not have to see only that there is a problem with the child, it is a problem of the family. The child is a scapegoat, helps sometime in a way to get all the attention from the family, so people are not anymore looking at the other problems, usually become the parents. 10 sessions. Why? Because the insurance paid not more. But when I was there, I found out that usually also after the 10 sessions, the problem was not completely solved, and they referred the users to therapeutic communities. Another experience that I had was very peculiar, that I visited the TC in a conference in Chicago, and there was a doctor, Dr. Washington. He said, well, we have large group meetings of more than 140 people coming there. And I didn't believe that. I said, what is that? And he said, come to see it and come to the groups one day and I'll show you. So I had the opportunity 2 years later to visit his groups, and I saw that it was true. At that night, there were around 150 people coming in the room. What had happened? The two people that there were two staff who were running this group. They said, well, in the beginning, we started to explain to the people coming, and there were brothers and sisters and so on. You can see that. And parents, uncles, and aunts, we can explain them the program. They did explain the program and how it worked. And after 1 or 2 sessions, these parents didn't come anymore because they knew it. So they decided, let's do it different. Apparently, those parents, those family members want to talk about their own problems they have. So they wrote on a piece of paper what they thought that people should know about their problem. And they decided to just ask 3 questions to the people in the group. The first question was, which family has a problem that you want to share? And the next question was, which family recognizes this problem? And the last question was, which family has a solution for this problem? They had a microphone giving it to the people that were talking about it, the people with the problems, the people with solutions. And of course, the people who were giving solutions felt very good about that they could help. They never saw it as a therapy. It was like a self-help and mutual help. And the interesting thing was in this building, also at the same time, for the small children, there was a room where they could play. For adolescents, there were other teen groups. And in the evening, there were also AA groups in the same building. And what was clear that the people in those groups started coming to these meetings also after the users of the family had already been discharged. So they can come for whenever they wanted to come, as long as they needed. I'm not talking about the program that I was the director of, the Eminiehoeve. We were quite successful, I would say, in this program. And we could also have, for the first time, I think, in the world, there was a house built especially for a TC, this house. And also, we are sorry to say that the same building has to be the first one built for TC, I think, to be demolished when in 2014, due to the insurances who pay this program, said we are no longer paying more than 3 months, what was of course not enough for most people who were there in the TC and still are. So we saw that this program, I had already left that program, but it's very painful, had become transferred to a small ward in a large addiction clinic, and this building was then demolished. However, we had done, and I'll come back to the research, we had from the start of the Eminiehoeve gathered a lot of information of the residents, and we started some years later a large follow-up study. In the follow-up study, the ex-residents were visited by medical students for face-to-face interviews 2 years after the residents had left the program. Success criteria were very strict. No use of any hard drugs, less than once a week cannabis, tranquilizer, or sleeping pills was still possible, although very rarely people started to use those things. No alcohol abuse, no arrest or prison detention, no drugs-related conviction, no drugs-related police contact, no treatment for alcohol or drugs, no drugs-related admission to any psychiatric hospital. The result was of this research that the longer the people stayed in the program, the more successful was the outcome. You can see it in this overview that if you stayed only, you can see it at the left, less than 30 days, everybody had been relapsed in drug use and being addicted. If you stayed long enough, for instance, to the right, 360 days, 1 year, we found that 70% were successful, no longer using or no longer having any alcohol problems. This research was repeated 10 years later by my successor, and he found that the same thing. In fact, the similar answers was that if you stayed long enough, this is in months, you could be much more successful. The graduates, for instance, if you graduate the whole program, including the entry, 80%, and in the second research, 87% had not relapsed. Now I was wondering, are parent groups contributing to the success of the therapeutic community in Eminiehoeve? And why? We found in the follow-up no difference between the completers and the dropouts, the two groups, the ones that made it and the ones that were not successful. There was no significant difference in the type of drugs, sex, age, and duration of the addiction. The only clear difference in success was found between residents who had at least one parent participation in at least one parent group and residents who had parents who did not attend the parent group. We found the following in the Eminiehoeve. If the parents was involved, the success of the clients or their daughters or sons was 64%, and when the parents did not come, it was 25%. We also found that it was not only clear that it was the success, but also they stayed longer. If there were, you can see it's a long program, and these were parents that stayed 698 days if they had participated in the parent groups, and when they didn't participate, it was 343 days. Now I'm going to tell you that something extraordinary happened to me when I presented these findings in a conference in Rome on addiction. After I had showed my slides, the next speaker was an Italian professor, Enzo Gori. He showed the results of an outcome study of the TC Casina Verde on the difference in success of parents who had attended parent groups and when parents had not attended parent groups. Our findings were striking similar. You can see these were his findings. If they had parents who had been in the parents group, the success was 47%, and where they didn't have any parent coming to the parent groups, it was 28%. You can see it's not so much different from this. The only difference is that the program of the Emilio was a bit longer, and that's why we have longer days, but the percentages are comparable. Also, we could say that this program in Italy, Casina Verde, was almost having the same structure, the same treatment possibilities, and also a program that is not any longer there. The Eslaan TC in Rotterdam had also the same program as Emilio and was also part of this research. You can see there is a drop of people coming down. If you see that at the end to the right, only 1/3 is finishing the program to the end. Now I was wondering, what is this, the influence of parent participation in the groups? Is it the indirect response or is it the direct related? We did I didn't do that because I'm not so good in statistics, but somebody at the university had been working on that. And he found, as you can see in this figure, that the relationship with parent participant and the time in program was much stronger than the relationship with parent program and directly with the success. So we could prove then why parent participating was helping the success in the program. It's because when the parents, I'll show you here, when the parent participated, they stayed, the residents stayed longer in the time in the program and therefore were more successful. Also, in other therapeutic programs, it was found that there was much more a successful outcome when you added parents groups or parent family involvement. You can see that in this overview. I'm not going to explain all those things. What I like to tell you is that after we found that the TC Emilio was no longer possible, the French Association founded a new organization, and this is the TC, the STAM. It is based on the program of the Emilio for TC. And yet you see it's in an old building of the 18th century, and it is in the middle of the city. In this program, we also had this graduation day. It's very moving that parents then come and they sing here a song made by the residents for the two people that are graduated. My conclusion of this presentation is that we can say that that residents of therapeutic communities who have parents who are involved in the program stay longer and have therefore more successful outcome than residents whose parents are not involved. Now, if you want to know more about parent groups, parent involvement, but also about the theory and the philosophy of the theses, you can find my thesis. It's still on internet. It is a free download. You can also mail me and I can send you some information as well on how this works. This was it. Thank you for your attention.
And thank you, Martin, for your presentation. Are there questions for Martin now? If you have one, please raise your hand. Maybe you can, you presented a slide with cumulative mean retention comparison. I think this is very interesting and it should be useful for different therapeutic communities to compare their retention rate to the one of previous year or the following year to see the evolution of the retention.
Yes.
Do you know if there are communities that you know who are using this comparison?
Yes. We did it, of course, also in Emilio, and what we saw that there was not so much difference in the retention rate, but there was a difference in success. So, for instance, we found that if you had staff that was united and had the same ideas, there were better results than when we had problems with the staff inside the TC. And of course, in the beginning, when we had no parent groups in the first years, and also we had to learn from our mistakes in the program. And I'm happy that we could learn from mistakes, because then your conviction is much stronger that what you do is good. Then we had less good results. And later on the program. For instance, I think that we have to learn that the re-entry program is probably more necessary than the TC, to have good staff there to help people to find a place in society. What's not, even if you are not addicted as an adolescent, it's not so easy to find your place in society nowadays, I think. And like, for instance, what I said of this Pauline Kaufman, who was running groups in the black neighborhoods in New York, she said, well, the family of a father and a mother and the kids is not anymore existing. We have different type of people living together with friends of the mother coming in and things like that, usually giving more problems than in the past.
And what is the mean age of the residents of the Stam today?
Today we have, of course, we see an enormous difference from the beginning of the TC. We had, at that time, mean age was about 23 years old. That was when we started. Now the mean age is about 30 and something. So there's a big difference. And I think one of the reasons was that we saw other programs coming. For instance, what we saw that in Holland in 1975, we saw the methadone programs coming without any demands. No treatment, just methadone by buses. So, and I know that from a lot of people that later on came into the TC, that they postponed the idea to stop because it's so easy to get your methadone from the buses. Of course, it was history now. The buses don't exist anymore. And now, finally, also other programs see that it's not only a drug that helps, but it's that you need more, that you need to have, for instance, therapeutic programs.
Mm-hmm. Are there other
Also,
questions?
they found in medical programs, if you add family groups, the outcome of the medical programs becomes better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also.
Other questions? I have still one. Is the time of relation in the STAM limited? For example, when you have the TC program and the reentry, is there a limit when people can no more be in contact with the STAM, or is the contact always open?
No, in the beginning, not. In the beginning, it is the first phase. That was also the same in the immediate TC. It was about 2 months that they could not have free visits to parents or to other people. What is changed now is the parent can come in from the start. Once a month, when we have these large meetings that I talked about, that are a little bit based on the Chicago groups, but everybody can come in together. Then the parents can meet for the first time, usually then their sons or daughters in coffee and breaks and things like that. It is new, but it's structured. It's together. It's inside the building, and then step by step in the program, the residents can go out and for instance, visit their parents or go to friends.
Yes, but my question was also about residents who have no family and for who the relation to the community is important. So is it possible for those people to remain in contact with the STAM in the long term?
Yeah. Yes. I see what you mean. Some people tell you, this is the first time I feel part of a family.
Yes.
First time. And there are now, there is an association for friends. And we have a meeting next week, by the way. And I'm still involved as the president of the Friends of the STAM. It's an association. And the graduates can become member. And usually we have meetings then where they can come. But it's still something that could be organized better, because I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it's a long program, 2 years, and usually in the re-entry phase, they find also friends, because they have to go to be a member of a club, especially important, I think, sports club. There is sports in the TC, so also in the STAM, and they can continue playing or whatever, football and things like that.
Thank you, Martin. Questions again, or no more? So, thank you again, Martin. So we have to say that if you are interested to get mobility grants for your staff in the future, next week we will present how we can help you for that. And also, if you have put your email address on the chat, we will send you the links to see all the presentations of today on the e-learning platform. Are some of you wanting to say something more?